Brian Powell of I Run Far here with Ryan Sands after his win at the 2014 the North Face Transgrancanaria. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Yeah, pretty chuffed with how the race went. Legs a little bit sore this morning, but I suppose that's expected.
Yeah, you sort of knew what to expect. You were here last year and ran the 80-some kilometer version.
Yes.
How did last year's race go?
Yeah, it also went pretty well. Like, the season started off well for me last year. I won it, and then obviously had a couple of setbacks later on in the year. But yeah, obviously I knew kind of what to expect. The course was a bit different this year, but yeah, it's obviously quite a brutal course with lots of climbing and descending.
Yeah, so you came back this year. You weren't up in the front pack, really. You were off that. Was that the plan all day, or did you have a rough patch to start?
I wasn't feeling the greatest to start, to be honest, but also I've never done that much climbing and descending in a race before, so I really wanted to pace myself and just take it easy. I didn't know what my legs were going to do, so the plan was to take the first half a bit easier, and then if I was feeling good to push on the second half, which luckily all seemed to go according to plan.
Yeah. Did you wait until there's sort of a start of almost 50K of downhill, 75K in?
Yeah.
Did you wait until that to make a move, or did you use some of the final climbs?
No, it was actually, I think it was that second big climb, or second two big climbs going to Garanon, which is the 82K point. So that like kind of 20Ks of climbing, that's when I just started to push, and my legs actually felt quite strong. So, and I started passing a couple of guys. Obviously, when you pass a couple of guys, you kind of get amped and just kept on going.
When did you know you sort of had a chance to catch the lead group? Because they were 5, 6, 7 minutes up on you, and there was a couple of them.
Yeah, I saw.
So you figure somebody's going to keep rolling.
No, for sure. I thought Timmy was looking really strong because at Garanon, you run out to the thumb and you do an out and back loop. So I passed all the guys. So I realised I had about 2 or 3 minutes behind them. Yeah, I saw Sebastian looked like he'd taking a bit of strain, but Timmy looked really strong. And I remember from 2 years ago at Western States, Timmy doesn't give up too easily. He's obviously a super strong competitor. So yeah, I kind of caught up to him, and yeah, I thought he was gonna really make me work really hard. But luckily, we were on a big descent, and I took off a little bit, and yeah, he didn't follow. So
it was a pretty distinct move. He didn't mark it, or.
No, yeah, we just kind of caught up to him. We chatted a bit, and then I kept on going, and yeah, obviously I think also still really early in the season for him. I'm sure he's quite focused on hard rock. So
you do have the somewhat of an advantage in that you come from the southern hemisphere, and you've had all summer to get in your training and your vert. And
no, for sure, it's also been really hot in South Africa, so I really enjoy the warm conditions, and yeah, I've been doing a lot of training out in the Drakensberg, which is a lot of up and down. So yeah, I think my climbing has improved over the last couple of months.
Yeah, it was quite cold at night on the north side of the island, but even standing around yesterday midday, it was quite warm.
No, it was really, or it felt really warm the last 20-30 kilometers. That's how I always say I like to race in hot conditions, but I was actually, I think I preferred the cooler temperatures at night, to be honest.
And how was navigating? There were 4 or 5 races combined coming down the descent. How did you deal with the flood of humanity?
Yeah, it was a little bit tricky because the marathon started at exactly the same time as I left Garanon, so I got stuck behind. Well, I was just right at the back of the marathon group, so there was like a steep climb going up at the start for about 200-300 meters, and yeah, it took me about 10 minutes to get through everyone. Obviously, I was a bit tired, so I wasn't kind of shouting and screaming too much. I just kind of had my head down, trying to power through everyone. But yeah, it's pretty cool seeing having lots of other people on the course. It's always nice to be passing people. But I think obviously from a racing point of view, it's always quite tricky. Even kind of you never know if the person like catching up to you is a marathon runner or a half marathon runner or like an actual competitor from the 125K.
Fortunately, that late in the race, you probably know.
Yeah. I never know Timmy. He's such a great competitor. Every time I look back, I saw a couple of kind of.
There were a lot of greenish shirts in the race.
They kind of those Lumo green shirts. Yeah, so I looked back a couple of times. I got a bit nervous, but yeah, luckily
you hung on.
Not. Yeah.
You said you were training up in Drakensberg.
Yeah.
Yesterday you announced you're doing an attempt at an FKT with one of your buddies.
Yeah, and doing an FKT.
So what is it?
Yeah, it's basically the Drakensberg Grand Traverse. It's 220 kilometers, basically crossing the Drakensberg mountain range in South Africa. It's quite a gnarly mountain range, and there are no proper trails there. It's really unforgiving terrain. So yeah, we're going to have a go at the record. The current record is about 60 hours or just over. So you're kind of moving at about 5 k's an hour, 6 k's an hour. So it's really slow. Yeah, from wrecking the course, initially I thought we'd be able to go a lot faster, but it's just the terrain is so brutal. Obviously, being at high altitude as well, like all the peaks are about 3,400, 3,000.
And what's the total vert on that?
It's about 9,500 meters.
So not much more than this.
No, so it's not. It's more just a lot of the time you kind of traversing around the sides of mountains, but there are no trails, and you're kind of on a pretty steep face, so it makes it pretty tricky.
So that's by far going to be, you haven't done any adventures nearly that long, right?
No.
What's the longest race or outing you've done so far?
We were out there for one of the recce's for like 30 hours or 33 hours, and that was pretty, like mentally it's just mind-numbing because you're moving so slowly and you hit the first peak really quickly, and then the second peak's only 55 k's later, so you just it just kills you. But also the sleep deprivation is going to be quite interesting. The guy I'm doing it with, Rainer Friesel, he's an adventure racer, so
that'll help.
Yeah,
no, he can tell you what's coming. And
no, for sure.
What's legit.
Yeah. No, he's super experienced, but yeah, he can go for like 7 days without sleeping, so it's going to be quite an interesting.
Have you guys thought about when you plan to start? Are you going to start at the beginning of night, so you have, I don't know, how long you're trying to finish it in, 2 days? Or?
Going anything between 45 and 50 hours, I think we'd be happy with. So we're looking to probably start at about 12 o'clock at night. So
a lot of that second day, or a lot of the end of the second day will be during daylight.
Yeah. So ideally it'll be awesome to finish kind of the end of the second day. So we kind of only have two nights.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on your great race here, and good luck with your project.
Thanks, yeah, looking forward to it. And thanks for all the great coverage of the race. I know everyone back in South Africa really enjoyed it.
Our pleasure. Brian here again with a quick follow-up with Ryan. There's a little bit of drama today. The award ceremony for Transgrancanaria was scheduled for noon. At 11 o'clock, I get an email from the press office saying Ryan's disqualified for lack of a thermal blanket. I forward that to you. This is like 40 minutes before the award ceremony.
Yeah,
what are you thinking?
I was actually walking out the door to come down to the award ceremony, and luckily for Twitter, I saw your post on Twitter, and my heart sunk. Obviously, you got a bit of a fright. I had all the gear at the finish. I couldn't understand what the issue was, but obviously yesterday there was a bit of a miscommunication or like a language barrier. I was asked for a cover, which I didn't quite know what it was, and obviously they were referring to a space blanket. I did show all my stuff, but I think amongst the chaos at the finish, they seemed to say everything's okay, and then it was all forgotten about until I saw it unfold.
And they had Guérignon, one of the later checkpoints, I don't know, maybe that's 50k to go.
Yes.
They checked your bag.
Yes, I had all the gear, the space blanket and everything, so there's no ways I'm going to drop the space blanket, which weighs, what, 50 grams?
Yeah.
But also, like, I don't know, I've always been like a firm believer in kind of having all the mandatory gear.
And you've run a lot of stage races where that's a huge component of the race.
No,
if you don't have 2,000 grams a day or 2,000 calories a gram, you're out.
Yeah, so I'm normally like, I double check things 4 or 5 times. So I suppose.
And then this morning, after getting your heart racing, you did end up meeting with the organization.
Yes. No, it was very cool. They sorted out really quickly, really efficiently. Obviously, the organisation, Transgrancanaria, the actual race organisation, is separate to the sports body that governs the rules and the regulations. So, I managed to meet up with them both and got the decision overruled pretty quickly.
So they understood that I wouldn't know what a cover is.
Yeah, so they said there was a clear, kind of lost in translation issue. So, luckily all turned out.
Sorry there was excitement, but congratulations again on the now official win.
Thanks.
And a quick bonus question for you, Ryan. There's a lot of wildlife in South Africa.
Yes.
Here you are going to be in rugged terrain, not by yourself, but with one mate. What are you most afraid of out there?
Probably snakes.
Yeah.
Especially back at home, I see so many snakes. Last year I had 1 or 2 really close encounters, but luckily I think they're actually more afraid of us than what we are of them. I was running down a trail early on last year and came across a big Cape Cobra, like across the trail, but I couldn't slow down in time, and he kind of reared up, and it kind of must have been about this far away from me.
Yeah.
I was just like I finally did manage to stop and like froze, and yeah, I thought he was going to bite me, but luckily not. He kind of just stood up and then went down again. So
do you bring anti-venom, or do you just have emergency contact?
Yeah, when I'm running, I try to let people know where I'm running, just in case. But the problem with anti-venom, there's so many different kinds of snakes, and also it expires pretty quickly if you're running it in the hot sun, so it'd be quite an expensive process. But generally, I think, yeah, I'm pretty safe.
Yeah.
I hope.
All right.
But otherwise, yeah, there are no real wild animals in the Drakensberg.
That part, okay.
Yeah, again, I think they're more scared of us. I think they're a couple
Sure.
of mountain leopards and stuff like that.
Cool. Well, stay safe out there.
Thanks.